look, a correction is going to come at some stage, but at the moment, we joke about these big numbers, 200, 300, $400,000 Bitcoin, but that's very much within reach as a global asset class, with everyone just putting 1, 5, 10% of their portfolio into Bitcoin and into Ethereum now as well.
BitSwap is the hottest new way to trade tokens. Crawling all the top decentralized exchanges, BitSwap gets you the very best price and value for your trades. BitSwap is changing the game. Try it now at bitswapdex.io. Welcome to BitBoy Crypto, the largest crypto channel in all the interwebs. My name is Ben. Every day on this channel, I show you how to make money in cryptocurrency. If you like money in crypto, make sure to go ahead and hit that subscribe button. You could also win a full Bitcoin, details down below in the video description. Today, I sat down with one of the smartest dudes in the entire space, Alex from Nugget's News. That's right, he's from down under, but his portfolio is certainly going up, I'm sure. He gives us his idea about what will be happening at the end of this year about Bitcoin, and I can tell you, you're definitely not going to want to miss it. We are just getting started. You've got to see the price points that he's predicting Bitcoin goes to in this bull run. Pretty exciting stuff. So here we go. Let's check it out. Hey, everybody. I'm joined with Alex from Nuggets News, a friend of mine. You guys don't forget to check out his channel. You guys can get that link down below in the description. But Alex is coming to us from down under. How are you doing, Alex?
I'm very good. Thanks, BitBoy. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you could just give us a little background on yourself and then tell us a little bit about what you do in the crypto space.
Yeah, sure thing. So I fell down the Bitcoin rabbit hole back in 2012. Before that, I was a little bit of a gold and silver bug, and I lost a lot of money in the GFC, in the financial crisis back in 2008. And that's when I wanted to learn about shares and how come we've lost half our money in this crash that no one can see coming, apparently. So I read this article on Zero Hedge about Bitcoin, and just digital money made sense. Everything else was digital, and I'd traveled a lot and I'd seen how bad money was, and the spreads and all that sort of thing. So this idea of digital instant money, I kind of knew it was going to take off. It was just a matter of time. And then I think over the years, Bitcoin has become more important in terms of a hard currency rather than, it started off as more of a payment system.
Right.
And so, I just think that it's evolved. And then Ethereum came along in 2015, and I kind of ignored it a fair bit at first and missed out on the ICO. Because
bad mistake.
Everyone was calling it a shitcoin,
right.
All the maximalists. And then I finally took the time to do my own research and thought, wow, this is so much bigger than just Bitcoin and money. This is a whole new system for apps and everything. So I went down that rabbit hole, and then I quit my job as a pharmacist in 2017 when that run sort of took place, and started a business and followed my passion, and grew the whole business around researching different coins and having a community. And now we've got, same as you, about 20 staff, lots of free content and education, and premium research and education as well.
Yeah, that's really incredible. And you said you were a pharmacist.
Yes.
So you were an extremely unique person. You were into drugs and crypto.
Yeah, everyone says, "Oh, you're into drugs on the dark web in Bitcoin."
Yeah, right. Am I right? So you've got a lot of research, and your website and your channel is just full of great stuff. You're partnered with a lot of the analytic firms that we work with and talk to get a lot of the research on our channel. And this is what I want to ask you: with all of your research that you've done, with all of the collective analytics that you have, what are you seeing right now for crypto? What are some of the big trends that people definitely need to be paying attention to?
Yeah, so I guess our approach is combining fundamental analysis with technical analysis, as well as the sentiment and psychology. And these days, you can get such good information, like you said, from Glassnode and Sentiment, the TIE, Crypto Quant. It's just awesome what we have out there available to us. So basically, what we're seeing is a very unique cycle compared to previous cycles. Institutional money has just kept pushing us higher and buying every dip. You look at the chart, and we tend to come back to the 21-week moving average, for example. And we just haven't even touched that in this entire run. And that just shows you that there's that, I think, repricing, and this asset class has just stamped itself as the real deal.
Yeah.
And that's very, very different to, a run and a pop that has been retail driven in the past. That smart money was early, and when they take a position, they're not really, scrambling in to buy, paying too much, and then it pops like we saw in all these previous cycles. This is smart money taking a position for the super long term. And so even though we've had this big run up, we're just not seeing on chain a lot of coins being sent to exchanges to be sold.
Right.
Miners took a lot of profits to pay for their hardware and get ready for the next cycle. And that's fine. That's all healthy. We're seeing a little bit of profit taking, but we're not seeing a lot of selling. And a lot of those old coins just haven't moved. And even with Ethereum as well, a lot of the coins that either been staked or they're in DeFi, they're just coins on exchanges are record lows. So it's all really healthy. I think we're probably heading somewhere towards like 70,000, 100,000, and maybe then we have a bit of a pullback because there's always going to be people that take profits.
Yeah, of course.
And in the macro backdrop, if things get a bit messy with interest rates in the stock market, that smart money will also have to take profits. They'll have to reposition and reallocate their funds and their balances. So look, a correction is going to come at some stage, but at the moment, we joke about these big numbers, $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 Bitcoin, but that's very much within reach as a global asset class, with everyone just putting 1, 5, 10% of their portfolio into Bitcoin and into Ethereum now as well.
Yeah, I think that's definitely something that we're seeing. We've seen profit taking. We've definitely seen, we've talked a lot on my channel about the miners taking profits. We've been a little hard on the miners because it's a very irregular pattern from some of the mining pools taking that profit. What are your thoughts on that? Like when you look at the F2 pool, for instance, that we've been very hard on, when you see a lot of those peaks, they've sold massive amounts, very inconsistent with what they've done, throughout the previous months. And then we see gigantic corrections based solely upon their selling. What are your thoughts on F2 pool and the mining outflows?
Yeah, so for a very long time, miners were below the production costs. So they were losing money, and that's where they're very reluctant to sell. And then they sort of hopped from being losing money to being profitable to extremely profitable when we're up at 40, 50,000 when we saw a lot of that selling. So I guess if you looked over time, it would probably be them just getting back to their average or getting back to what they needed to pay off all their bills. And what they want to do is pay off all the hardware they have and get ready for the next lot of hardware for the next market cycle. And once they kind of have everything squared off, then they'll stop that selling. And we've already seen it slow down a little bit.
Yeah, we have.
So yeah, I definitely think it's all just part of the normal cycle. And once you have that behind us, then you know that that's just less selling that's coming in future. So it's kind of a necessary part of the cycle. But yeah, they were losing money for a long time, and then all of a sudden they've got a heap of profit. So you can't really blame them for paying their bills.
Yeah, I definitely can. It's when you've got one mining pool that's doing it and the rest of them aren't. And then when you actually my big problem with it is if you actually sit there and you think if they were just to sell a consistent amount over time, they would actually make more profit because they would prevent the price from dumping, because we've had several major gigantic corrections that pretty much solely you can track to their selling. So in my opinion, like it only makes sense that they're leveraging it on the way down and trying to kind of make the profits back instead of just selling, because it would make more sense from a business perspective to do it consistent to keep the market from tanking. The other thing I think about though is when we look at a lot of the top indicators, like when we look at the new pull or the stock to flow deflection or the Puel multiple, when you look at a lot of these top indicators, it seems like every time we start getting to a danger zone, we have these massive dumps, and that's what kind of keeps the market healthy. So, from an analytics standpoint, what are you seeing in terms of market tops compared to, every other day, people are saying, no, the bull market's over. I don't think any of us actually in the space think that, but what are you seeing in terms of some of those top indicators?
Yeah, I definitely think like the whales and the miners like to push the market in the right direction to keep things healthy. And if we hadn't have had this pause that we're currently in and we had to go on straight to 70, 80, 100K, then that is like a super parabolic chart. And that's not healthy because everyone wants to make money, but people forget the harder it goes up, the harder it's going to fall as well. Yeah. So we need stair steps. We're getting towards the sort of danger zone or overextended on a lot of these metrics. Maybe it's slightly different this time just because of that maturing of the asset class. But again, I think whales would take profits, and a lot of people have made 10x, 20x in a year or so. So we're going to see profit taking. And once the market turns and people become fearful that everyone is selling, becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Because we saw the other day, there was that mislabeled transaction, and the alert went out and everyone started to sell. And that's probably the thing that worries me.
Was it on accident, you think?
I know the guys at Crypto Quant, and I think they definitely mean well. I don't think they wanted to cause a market panic, but I worry about how thin markets are and order books are sometimes, because we literally know that there's not many coins on exchanges and not many people are sending them there. And so everyone subscribes to these channels or these services, and we're looking at this data. So what happens the day when there is a big spike and all the YouTubers tell everyone that there's coins going in, and people see that and they get the alerts? And everyone, it's like musical chairs. And I think at the moment, some people, or everyone is just kind of thinking that, oh, I'm going to sell the top when I get that alert on my phone. But if everyone tries to do that at once, and we're at 100K, we could be at 50K within a day. Do you know what I mean? And that's, I guess, what worries me a little bit, that these markets are still very thin and controlled by 100x leverage.
Yeah, it is. It's very interesting when you think about the market caps and how that's probably one of the biggest misnomers about cryptocurrency in these market caps, is there's not a one-to-one value of actual dollars in the Bitcoin market cap. Like, there's not literally, $1 trillion in there. A lot of it's on leverage. And that's why it only takes, like Bank of America said, $93 million to move the price of Bitcoin 1%. So,
that's such an important point. Like you're talking about realized market cap, and even more for altcoins, as you say.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, what is your thoughts in terms of a bear market? Do you believe we're going to see a standard bear market where Bitcoin goes down 85%? Do you think that we're going to see kind of a more dialed back bear market? Like, that's kind of what I think is going to happen, maybe 65% due to a lot of the institutional money. Or do you believe in a Bitcoin super cycle where the price is going to go up for the rest of our lives and there will never be another red candle?
It depends where we go. So if we went to 400,000 and got a big week, and then we pulled back to 100, that's a 75% correction back to 100K. So look, maybe, but I definitely think, and I've always said, that we are growing to a multi-trillion-dollar market cap to compete with gold and Forex, blah, 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 like we all hope. And as we grow, the volatility is going to get less and less. And we're going to turn into a currency just like the euro or the US dollar, the Aussie dollar. We might have 10 or 20% volatility year to year. And so I think this cycle will not be 85%. It might be 70%, 60, 50% maybe. Yeah. Because as long as we're getting global adoption and penetration, there's always buyers, and more fiat currency is always being printed. And as long as more and more of that is always entering Bitcoin, then that's all going to sort of slow the growth and stem the bleeding. And you got to remember that this is the first time that Bitcoin has bounced back after the public boom and bust. So this is the cycle where people realize it's here to stay. Yeah. And so when it busts again, everyone is going to be saying, hey, we buy that dip and then we get rich. And so everyone's going to be thinking that, rather than, oh, is Bitcoin dead? So I don't think we get a deep, nasty correction this time.
I don't know if I believe that. I don't know if I believe that this one will be different, where people say, oh no, we'll buy the dip now. Like, I think the smart money will do that, obviously, but I'm just thinking about the mainstream retail mania that's coming, because we haven't even seen that yet. Once we see that,
they won't be. They'll be the same as always. They'll buy the top, and then they'll sell when there's blood in the streets.
You're just selling it to Tesla and SpaceX.
Yes. Or Chinese companies. It's a global phenomenon. Yeah.
Yeah. The Me Too, right? That's the name of the company.
Yeah.
Me Too. That's a little on closer to your side of the world. Okay. So what are your thoughts? Let me a last question here. Let's talk about Bitcoin. You've thrown out some, kind of crazy numbers where it could go. What do you, like, from your perspective, everything you're seeing, kind of map out the rest of this bull market in just some brief phases? Like, where do you think we're going to go before we get a giant correction? Like, what kind of percentage correction? And then ultimately, what price point do you see Bitcoin at by the end of this bull market?
I think, like I said, throw that figure about 70,000 or 100,000. And then, a sideways chop for months on end would be really healthy to allow alts, gaming, NFTs, DeFi, all that sort of sector to blossom. And then Bitcoin has another run into the end of the cycle when we get up to these very large numbers. And then we have that correction into the next halving. So that would be the ideal, I guess, roadmap.
Yeah. So what do you think? What is the absolute top you can see Bitcoin going to in this market?
In this cycle, yeah, I do believe that sort of 200, 300, 400,000 is possible in the next sort of, well, that'll be about 2 years away, maybe 3 years away. In the next 10 years, I can see Bitcoin going to $1 million a coin, but that won't be an easy ride. That'll be very volatile and you'll get shaken off. So I don't think it's going to be easy.
Well, when you say you will get shaken off, you're not talking about me. I will not be shooketh.
No, definitely just in general.
I'm going to hold on no matter what. No matter what.
People say, oh, you've had Bitcoin since 2012, 13. You watch that go down 85%, 3 or 4 times, little cycles within that, the FUD, the hard forks. Like people go,
it's all
you're lucky you got in early. But no, it was super hard every time that went down.
Well, it's all the same. So every time, like I've also been in the market since 2012. I sold very early. So really kind of like 2014, 2015, I wasn't like really in the market. I owned a little bit here and there. Basically after Mt. Gox crashed, I thought crypto was over. So like I really took my eyes off and, things like that. But what I'll say is by the time you've been in this long and you've seen this many market cycles and you've seen the FUD, and really the thing that really brings it all around for me is when it's always the same story around the same events. It's always like right before the halving, it's the stories that are, well, this halving is different because everybody knows. They were saying the same stuff in 2015, that they were saying in 2019. And we saw what happened.
There's China bans crypto. There's the mining death spiral. There's Tether. Then there's regulation. They're going to outlaw it. Then the privacy criminal stuff. It's the same It's
always the same. And so when you've heard it once, you've heard it a million times. And the more you hear it, and the more you really start to see what's going on, you understand. You just hold, you got your trade in crypto, you got your profit taken, but in general, you just don't worry about it. We all know where this is going. So multi-trillion-dollar market cap. I love it. Well, Alex, thank you so much for joining this show today. Everybody make sure to go check out his channel down below in the description. Also check out his website, collectiveshift.com. Is that correct?
Yeah. collectiveshift.com.au in Australia.
.au. That's right.
And,
.au.
That's got all the free stuff. And then there's the premium stuff as well if everyone's interested.
Awesome. So it's good research. He's partnered with a lot of good firms out there. So you guys make sure to subscribe to his channel. Alex, anything you want to leave us with today?
No, I guess we didn't really get to touch on, we might get into that next on my channel when we're going to finish off the second half of this interview actually. So we'll get into some more juicy stuff over on my channel.
Yeah, absolutely. So make sure to go subscribe so you can watch our video together there. Well, guys, make sure to drop your comments down below. Let me know who else in the crypto space you want to see us collaborate with. Would love to get some comments and some ideas and suggestions on that. For now, that's all I got. Be blessed. Good boy out.